No, I guess so. The panel I'm giving, I guess, is not really a panel. I just want to just get us to open our minds and think about this liquid.
So it's a panel.
What's mental behind all the physical stuff that we see. And so I kind of want to go backwards. So I asked a few guys to just kind of show their styles and then tell the story that they're seeing in their heads as they're doing their styles. So maybe can we kick off with like Hadouken, since you just went. Just do a few concepts and tell a story that you're thinking.
Actually talk and tell you what I'm doing?
Yeah.
We're talking and dancing at the same time?
At the same time. Yeah.
When you do liquid, what do you feel?
What are you thinking? Or what's the story? You get to pick one concept that you're doing and tell the story about it, whatever it is. For example, very, very simply, the concept of a rail, we all know it's drawing a line through space. Right, so I'm drawing this line right here. Right. So, I mean, what's your liquid style like? That's why I contrast a lot of different people's styles and just kind of open people's eyes up to what we're imagining as we're doing all this physical stuff. So just really kind of showcase basically what the uniqueness of each individual is in liquid dancing. So, I mean. All right.
Very good. Usually might help. Okay.
The spot? Oh my god. I think I'm overthinking. I don't know if I can.
You want me to do it?
You go first.
Okay. If I had to. I guess sometimes I like to imagine, I don't think I should this word, like it's like a car chase, you know? Yeah. So I have one car, another car, using the example of rails. Something that Kai used to teach was parking cars in a parking garage. Nice. You know, and like they'd park them in and shovel them out. Use them with builds. But something that really stuck when you were teaching me in underground sound was a conversation between two hands. I actually took that literally, and like over the past couple of months, I've been doing stuff where I'll kind of be flowing, and I'm like,
Eric, can you talk about your liquid, your water concept, where you're outside? Can you talk about your helix concept, your DNA?
Matt does his, you know, they're very geometric and, you know, but kind of clean and bright is how I see him, where I try to be a little bit more kind of on the dark and make some of his face cringe kind of stuff. So that's kind of like where my head's at. Like, I like the dimension.
Well, when I dance, I don't really think. So basically, I compress the whole room inside me. So most of the time, you get that old school thing where you put your hat over your face, and I'm compressing everybody inside me. You know. So when I move, I imagine that everybody's seeing I'm here. I'm you. I'm looking at myself. So that's why I'm thinking inside. I could see everybody's eyes looking at these two hands right here, right? So I could compress the whole room inside me. So that's what I, imagine inside my head. And I could, when I practice, I always practice and look at my shadow. That's like a point of reference. And the shadow talking back to me. Yeah, you're doing good, motherfucker. Yeah. But and then like the fingertips and digits, I do sort of get some evil too sometimes with the face, the mask and all that shit. But it's just to sometimes to bring this energy is very compressed to you. It's not like evil or anything. It's like something that I'm getting inside you. I'm getting real deep inside your mind, So that's how I could compress that feeling, and intensity is very important to me. Intensity.
Thank you. Eric, can you talk about your liquid around you concept? The one you imagine we dance. What the stuff that fills in as you come through?
Oh, it's not that I am liquid. It's not that I'm manipulating liquid. It's that I'm in the liquid. Like, you're in a pool and you gotta push the water out of the way. That's how I think about it when I do it. That I'm in a pool and I'm pushing the water out of the way, and that helps clean up my lines and everything because the water is pushing back against me. If If you ever, I don't know, if next time you guys are in a pool, try it. Because you'll actually get a flow, and like you actually have to push the water out of the way. So when I give it, I'm actually, and then as I pull this way, the water is filling in where my arms used to be. And it's kind of like pushing me along. It helps clean up my lines. Oh no, so like I said, everybody sees it differently. I just think I'm in water instead of that I am water or manipulating water. That makes sense.
Membrane.
The what?
Membrane.
Membrane? Well, I used to imagine that like there's a membrane that covers your body when you're doing liquid, so that you're incapable of touching it. You get as close as you can without touching it. And likewise, to kind of give yourself a point of reference to understand how your patterns can expand spatially. He's talking about scaling things. I was staring at an onion one day, and I was doing liquid in the kitchen, and I was like, wait a second. Okay, you can just move it, and it's a way to understand how your body lines up expanding into space. You have the same pattern, and it can expand infinitely as far as you can reach. Other stupid ideas I had, I smoke, so I had a backyard that had a fence, and there wasn't shit to stare at back there. And so I'd always just smoke and stare at the clouds. And I'd run out of good ideas, and one day, kind of early in the morning, and I was just floating. And I started floating the hands. And it kind of came back into an idea. We used to do a lot of helical liquid. That was basically just a rip of what he was doing. I love the idea of having helix and doing that sort of thing, and did a lot of stuff that was like a ball. I had a ball, and then one day the hands came together. I was not dark. I was kind of getting to a point where it was very childlike in what I thought and what I was doing. And then I had a ball, and I had the clouds, and it became
like a balloon.
a bubble.
And let's get one or two more guys. Can you guys send you real quick what you're thinking of when you
Well, I used to think about actually having my bones be little liquidies, so that there isn't a lot of stiffness to the arms and everything. It's not about these kind of angles. It's more kind of twisted angles. Recently, I've been thinking about adding texture to it, so I'm thinking more like. I used to do the robot a lot. Anybody who's known me for a while knows I used to do the robot. So I started to get kind of Terminator 2 on it, and thinking about a liquid robot moving through time and space so that it warps more. So be more mechanical. But you can So it has like more texture to it, you know what I mean? And you can change, you don't have to go one speed, like Eric was saying. You can kind of,
For myself, I'm actually, for those of you who know my style of martial arts, liquid, I'm actually imagining someone fighting me. So I have to avoid their punches, grab it, and throw it, and sweeps and stuff, go into attack, or go from it. So basically, what I'm trying to get at is, everyone's liquid is so individualized and so creative because what we are seeing in our minds, what our life experiences give us, and I guess the whole idea that I love what Tiny was talking about too. The idea that after a while you no longer need these visuals to help you dance because your body just knows, because you do it so much that it just comes out. And I think that's what's so beautiful about liquid, is trying to find those limitations and rules that you're working with in order to be creative. find those few rules, put them together, and be creative with it and go deep into it. I think Liquid's a deep dance. It's not a wide dance, if you will. Or some dances have a wide range of movements. Ballet has the vocabulary of positions and stuff, and or whatever dance styles there. Locking has its own set of movements. But Liquid, we take a rule, we take a concept, and we go so deep into it, and that's what the beauty of Liquid is.
More depth, less span.
Yeah.
Integral Ken Wilber's philosophy. As things evolve, they get more depth but less span, like the peak of a mountain as it rises. The cultural creatives are at that point more depth, less span.
And I guess to kind of go on too is that Liquid's not just about the physical, like Tiny does it. The way Tiny does it, it's emotion. It's all emotion. It's all here. And I think there's so much.
Spiritual.
Yeah, so much in there.
Man upstairs. Your source.
So I think kind of this workshop was kind of geared towards, I guess, when Kai told me and Tom told me about this, geared towards beginners. I really encourage us who are here to figure out our story. Figure out who we are and what our story is. Because one thing I truly believe is that what's so unique about dancers is that we are the very medium of our art. Painters of paint, musicians of instruments, what have you, photographers have the pictures. Yeah, we ourselves, we are the art. We are the medium of it. And so every experience that you have, every testimony that you have, that's what goes into our dances. That's why I love sitting here and listening to workshops, especially old school heads good, because they tell the history. This is why their dance is the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's so important. In the forums, they're always like, shut up and dance, shut up and dance. I'm like, no man, let's dance and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's dance and then figure out who these people are who are dancing, not just the dance itself. Because to me, that's so much more important. Or you're talking about even Liquid concepts. Liquid, we talk about, okay, there's a rail, here's the fold, and here's the hand flow. Add together, some of its parts, the flow is greater than some of its parts. But if you look at dance, you think what dance really is, I would say this. I think a dance is the sum of its dancers. A dance is the sum of its practitioners. And we are the ones who create the culture of a dance. And I think that's I guess a word of encouragement is whatever life experiences you have, you're unique from other people. Whatever dance styles you've been influenced by, whatever movement styles you've been influenced by, whatever life experiences. I mean, going through that kind of Romanian government, that's crazy, okay? But that's influenced the way he sees, the way he feels. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's so powerful. Don't neglect those things in light of the physical aspects of the dance. That's who you are. And I think one thing underlying all of this is the idea of Liquid. We're talking about Liquid, right? So flow. That whole idea of flow, don't lose the flow. Eric keeps telling me it to me over and over again. Because, I love experimenting with different dance styles and trying to get the flow. But a lot of times I lose the flow in order to find the movement that I like. But yeah, I think Eric's he's got me down on a point is that don't sacrifice the flow for the sake of movements, of moves. Okay? And I think that's one, yeah, exactly. And just, I guess one really small deviation from what we're talking about is just small ideas of how to just, I guess, be creative with flow. So if we're talking about mental approach to Liquid anyways, how do we create flow? We have a lot of cutters around here, and it's so awesome to see all these different dance styles come together and trying to make something new. Whether we contribute to tutting or tutting contributes to Liquid or whatever it is, And even just thinking about the idea of tutting, we have tutting, right? How do we make that Liquid? What am I doing there is simply this. Something Lucas said actually, last time I was out in Baltimore, really set me off on this idea, is Liquid, he kind of saw a part of it as one thing following another. Right? And I was thinking, okay, how do you make tutting like flow? And we were talking about this too, sorry, I'm all over the place. But Liquid's a dance transition. Yeah, I am, whoa. But Liquid's not a dance where we hit the movements, like we were talking about popping this. You hit a shape, Even ballet, you hit the shape, or whatever it is. But Liquid's always in motion, constant motion. So since it's in transition, the way to create flow is within the transition itself. So as you're cutting, how do you create that excess motion, I would say this. Let's say you're going down with this hand, and your next transition is down here. So it's this, or whatever it is. As you're coming in, start your next movement and transition. It's also with a time lag, in a sense. You can create a flow through time lag. And I think you can do that with every movement there is. Create a small tiny fraction of a second time lag with each movement overlapping. Right? So even here, I continue to flow with my legs. Well, I kind of set up, but the flow will still be there even if my head moves with it. And I think that opens up to a lot more than just using a handful or using just a figure eight. And so I think lastly, the point I'm trying to get in the end is there's no limit to what you can do with liquid if you just understand what flow is. And obviously, that's an elusive question that that escapes all of us. What is flow? But I say the answer is not that we should answer what flow is as a community, not that we should answer what flow is as a group of dancers, but we have to answer what flow is for ourselves, and then from that we can increase basically what the creativity of flow is, with this generation of dancers, I guess, that we're influencing. And the last thing I want to close with, since we're talking about thinking about the dance anyway, is we've been talking so much this weekend about the techniques behind the dance, the emotion behind the dance, the character behind the dance, that the question I ask us is, do we ask what our dance is like in a larger context? Something like what PlainWhiteTom is doing. Think about the dance that's beyond ourselves, the dance that we can use to influence. And the question I ask us is, what can we do with our dance? More than just the movement itself. What sociological impact can we make? Whether it be small, whether it be just a group of friends who have fun, that's a sociological impact, right? Or what could be something bigger like this, gathering a bunch of dancers together, sharing ideas, and making an impact on the future of this dance. I work at a school with behavior disorder, emotional disorder kids. I use my dance in order to teach them to release. I use my dance in my church in order to teach people to worship through dance, through their bodies. So lastly, the question I want to pose as we close, I guess, this conference time is, what will you do with your dance? And I think I've just been so inspired by all of us here, whether we are veterans of whatever, or we just started yesterday, because we're here and we want to make our dance better, and we can use that dance to make an impact. So yeah, just thankful to be here.
Yeah.